Hello and welcome to Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skin Care, the company that brings out the beauty in you. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we aim to empower, encourage, and equip you with the right tools that you need to move closer to you achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insight from experts in different fields of business, men and women of faith. Also, from ordinary people from all walks of life. Coming up on today's show, we explore the subject of growing and sustaining your business further. We speak again to a customer care consultant, a man of much learning and experience in the areas of business banking and business finance. He has spent many years in the banking environment, out of which he gathered an invaluable wealth of knowledge on matters pertaining to your business financial soundness, as well as other areas of business development. Welcome, Mr. Kenneth Mhlongo, again with me in your home today. Stay with us for more value-adding information.
Thank you, Charles, for having me on the program, and good day to all our viewers out there.
Viewers, you'll recall that last week we highlighted the importance of being knowledgeable. We also discussed to a good extent the aspect of business growth and the challenges associated with it. We are this week taking it further. But before we do that, Kenneth, allow me again to call you by a clan name.
Thank you.
What is it again?
Jomana.
Jomana.
Yes.
Jomana, what is your business and what does it entail? What is the name of your business? Just shortly and briefly.
Yeah. Charles, my business is custocare consultant. We are a business consulting firm. And I must just say that this business was conceived out of my own passion of assisting entrepreneurs. But basically, we assist business in terms of setting up entrepreneurs, in terms of setting up businesses, and to make sure that the business remain sustainable and competitive. Ultimately, yes.
I heard you many times and many other people saying this, that cash is king. Why do you feel so strongly about this?
As you so correctly say, Charles, cash for any business is key. It's king. And then secondly as well, cash flow, it's a lifeblood of any company or any organization. Without cash or without any cash flow, you don't have a business, you know. And so because you need the cash to be able to operate a business, you need the cash to be able to sustain a business even in difficult times, and you need cash in order to make sure that you are able to develop your business and even increase your offering in the business. So cash is very key for any business. And if the time allows us, what I would like us to talk about regarding the issue of cash flow, it's that there are normally quite a lot of things that actually affect the cash flow of any business, and some of them are so obvious. But for today, I would like us to concentrate on three of those areas. The first one being the lack of separation between the assets of the owner of the business and the business entity itself. That is a very thorny issue that we will talk about it later on. And secondly, the other factor is how do you deal with the money, the profits that you've made in your business? How do you invest that money? Do you invest it within your business or do you invest it outside your business? So as we talk about it, I will sort of try and explain how you handle that specific issue in terms of making those kind of decisions. And the final one that we're going to talk about, which is got quite a huge influence on the cash flow of the business, is basically your capital expenditure. That is, those are the amounts that you spend in your business to actually either acquire or upgrade your productive assets. Productive assets, some of them that we can think of quickly, it's your buildings, it's your vehicles, it's your machinery, it's your plant, which are very much costly by their nature. So, and it is quite also a very complicated, what you call a decision that you need to make regarding the purchasing of your productive assets.
Let's hit the road straight away. The business owner and the business itself. Separation of the two.
Charles, that has always been a very contentious issue. And just to put it in context, to understand what creates a problem, I'll sort of put it in context. Under normal circumstances, in general, when people start businesses, they actually put money into the business, their own money. So, but in a layman's language or in layman's terms, if I put my own money to the business, it means that the money that is the business is my money, so I can do whatever I want with it. I can, at any point in time, draw money directly from the business and use it for myself because I put the money to the business. But if we need to understand it from a business point of view, that's what corrects the situation. Because once you put in money to the business, you are borrowing the money to the business, or you are investing the money to the business, and the business owes you that money to you with interest. It means once you place it in the business, it stays in the business. Your expectation is that the business should make enough money to be able to repay your capital and also pay the interest for that. Once you take it from that angle, you will understand then that you don't have to tap directly into the assets of the company. And the other challenging factor as well, I talked about the owner and the business entity. Normally, a business entity is a juristic person.
Yeah.
It's not a natural person, so it cannot talk for itself.
Yes.
If Kenneth today running his own business, he decides to go and take money from his own company, the company is not going to refuse. Unless if you do have system in place that makes it impossible for Kenneth to be able to take money anytime he wants to take it from his business. So those are the challenges that actually people sit with in terms of dealing with the issue of separating the assets of the business from those of the owner. Yes.
You see how I worked it myself, how I managed to overcome that myself personally. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I go to work.
Yes.
I work for myself. But I always tell myself, I have got a boss. So I wake up every morning, I go to work as if I'm working for someone else. In that way, it means I'll have a discipline to go to work in time and come out of work in time. And when I have to go out and do something else, I feel like I'm cheating. And that helped me a lot. Because even if I see the money inside the till, I tell myself, this is not my money. My money is the one which is in my purse. The one which is in the till is for my boss. Although it happens that my boss is also myself. But that helped me a lot. Yeah.
Charles, you're saying a very important thing. I think that says to us, to say, for instance, then if, rightly as you say, you working for your business, which is your boss in a way, then obviously then you need to pay yourself a salary.
Yes.
You need to compensate yourself for spending time to manage that business.
I don't take from the till.
Yes, that's correct.
I pay the salary. I pay myself a salary.
Yes, that's correct.
And that salary, it must be realistic.
That's correct, Charles. Excellent. Yeah. At the end of the day, the beauty of the fact that you are still the boss, although you work for the company, is that end of the company, when the company makes profit, you can actually partake in declare dividends for yourself. But of course, the most important issue is that you need to leave some money in the business for sustaining the business and also to give an opportunity to develop a business further. So that's how we should deal with the issue.
You see, that helped me a lot as well, because one of my business is in the hub of transport activities of Johannesburg. And I've got a lot of relatives, they come there, they are stuck. No, guess what? The first thing they do, they come to my business. They say, hey, I'm stuck here. I need 200 trains to go back home. What do you do?
Yeah, that's the problem. If
I don't have money in my pocket, which is mine, to give you or to loan you, I don't have it. Yes. The one which is inside the till is never mine.
Yeah, definitely. It belongs to the business. That's true.
But it takes high discipline. And what more can you say about discipline?
Just like I said, one of the issues is that obviously there's not anything that could prevent you from taking money from your business, because you will never refuse to do that.
You never refuse.
You can always take it, Okay. But you need discipline. And the discipline, and for you to be able to have that discipline, obviously the income that you're receiving from the business, you need to budget it. You need to budget. Your budget should only be based on the income that you're receiving. And as well, you said a very important thing, to have that discipline to say, this money does not belong to me, it belongs to the business. And that's the kind of discipline that you need to be able to deal with and to stick to your budget as well.
It's one thing to budget. It's something else to stick to your budget.
Yes, yes.
You know, my pastor used to say, plan your work and work out your plan.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to plan your work, but if you don't work it out, nothing will ever happen.
No, definitely.
On that note, viewers, we are taking a break with my guest, Njomana, and we're really enjoying ourselves. Hope you are enjoying too. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. I am sitting here with my guest, Kenneth Mhlongo. What can you say about determining their salary?
Charles,
is there any formula?
Yeah, the formula is easy. I could say there's a formula and there's also guidelines, and I think that's what's important. And the golden rule is that obviously it will not make any sense to pay your salary that your business is not going to afford. Because if you do that, if you overburden your business with your own salary, it will mean effectively you're cannibalizing your own business. That is mean that you will be paying yourself on profit and exceed your profit and paying yourself on the capital that you've invested in the business. So basically you're eating your own capital. You're cannibalizing your own business. So I think that's a guideline. But as well, Charles, what I always say to people, there must be an incentive to you to run business. If you run a business and you earn peanuts, you might as well go back to work. There's no incentive for you to run a business. But obviously, if you realize that the income that you're earning is not enough, you've got two options. The one option is you need to come up with plans to increase your revenue. And remember that salary is being paid out of your gross profit. So you can increase your revenue, but at the same time, manage your costs effectively so that you increase your profit margins. That will now enable you to pay yourself a reasonable salary that you actually deserve. Yes.
You have done an extensive work on investments. What will your advice be to our viewers?
Charles, obviously, I think as a starting point, when you need to start talking about investments, first of all, we need to understand that you invest money that you've made from the profit. You cannot be investing your capital that is in your business. You need to be investing your profit. But then the profit that you make, as we said in the beginning, some of this profit need to be used to sustain your business and to be able to grow your business. So when you have to invest your money that you make from the profit, you have to decide whether you're investing it in your business or investing outside the business. What are some of the guidelines that will help you to make those kind of decisions? The first thing you need to look at the return. What is the point if you put your money in your business and you make better returns? What is the point for you to move the money out of the business and put it in investment outside the business that's going to make lower returns? But at the same time, you can look at risk factors. What is the risk of putting inside the business or putting outside the business? So you need to apply this kind of thing and also to understand, to say where where your business is at a particular stage and where you need to take your business, your plans. What are your cash flow needs now and what are your cash flow needs in the future? Because the other element that you need to consider when you're dealing with investments is to check how quick can you turn your investment into liquid cash, you know? So there's no point for you if to put a lot of money in investment wherein it's going to take you quite a bit of time to convert that investment into liquid cash. Whereas in terms of your cash flow plans, you might need that cash in the short term. So basically you're stifling your business in terms of cash flow. So those are the things that you need to apply your mind on in terms of how you deal with investments to bring about that balance.
You know, applying your mind is most important when it comes to investment. There was a stage in my life where I had a credit card and they were charging me 24% interest on a credit card. But I opened a savings account and I started investing or saving in the savings account. And guess how much I was getting? 4%.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm taking my money into a savings account and it's earning me 4%, whilst the bank is loaning me my own money that I've saved through a credit card facility at 24%. Basically, my money was shrinking every month by 20%.
It's just, that's a very important point. A lot of people don't really look at that a lot. You know, that's why it's you need to be careful in terms of, like I'm saying, you taking money out of your business, then you're putting into investment. But when you need to expand your business, if you compare the interest that you're receiving on your money and compare the money that you have to pay to raise funding for your business, it's just not worth it, you know. So that's where you need to apply your minds to make sure that you're making the right kind of decisions.
What's your take on investing on property?
Charles, there is nothing wrong in investing money in your property. But I always say it depends what kind of money you're putting into your property. Because what you need to understand with property, the return on the property, it's more medium to long term. Yeah. That is the point of departure. And secondly, as to how much you're going to make, how much returns you're going to make out of investment, of a housing or a property investment, it depends on the market conditions. When are you selling your property? If you look at where we're sitting now in the economy, we're sitting almost in a technical recession, which we might go on a full recession. What it means effectively, you're going to be having a lot of properties that are flooded in the market. And what happens to the prices? The prices are going to go down. So whatever strategy you use to invest in property, I always say use your lazy money. The money that you will not need in your business in the short term, in the medium term. So that once you put that money in that property, you will make good returns. Because if you're not burdened or you're not pressed to sell the property tomorrow or after 2 months or 6 months or 12 months, then you'll be able to sell a property at the right time and after a reasonable price. That's where you're going to make good returns. You're not going to, but then if you're taking the money that you need in your business, you put in a property, so a year down the line, you bought a property for R1 million. You are sitting in a recession. You want to sell the property because the prices have gone down. You're selling a property for 800,000. You're losing 200,000. So there's no point. So it's a good investment, but people need to understand. I've seen quite a lot of our people bending their fingers. The guy, he makes money in his business. He goes full out to buy properties. This guy is cash strapped. He does not have cash flow. He cannot meet his immediate cash flow needs. He cannot meet his creditors' needs. He cannot do that. He cannot operate his business. What does he do? He sells his properties for a song. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's got to do with the kind of money that you use and also when you're selling a property, and it should be medium to long term, basically.
I love that. Viewers out there, remember, rich people invest, poor people saves. If you want to know more about that, get a copy of my latest book, Unlocking the Success Code. Let's take a break. We'll come back shortly. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. We are continuing with my guest, Kenneth Mhlongo. Kenneth, let's talk about CAPEX.
Yes.
What is CAPEX?
Charles, capital expenditure. You very nice is CAPEX, yeah. This is the kind of money or amounts that you spend in your business to acquire or to upgrade your productive assets. Mm-hmm. Your productive assets, we're talking like things like, for instance, your buildings, your machinery, your plant, your equipment, your computers, your vehicles. And that's what we call CAPEX basically. And what brings a little bit of a challenge with CAPEX is that you have to spend, because the nature of capital assets or your productive assets are quite expensive and they are very costly. So you need to make a decision where you're committing a bigger portion of your own capital. And at the same time, even if you're not paying upfront, what's happening that you're committing your company on a long-term kind of an agreement that is very costly. Mm-hmm.
But how can, if I were to put it this way, inverted commas, a shrewd businessman or an entrepreneur approach it?
The first thing that you need to do in terms of your capital expenditure, again, it's for you, because all the three options that we're going to talk about, all of them, they've got their own advantages and disadvantages. They've got their pros and cons. So firstly, you need to be able to match where your company is at this particular stage, and also your plans as to how you want to grow your business and how you want to run a business. It's not quite an easy decision, because you'll have to decide either when to use one option or to consider a combination of options. So that's when you take advantage of you have to make a decision that where the advantages outweighs your disadvantages. You know, you need to match it properly. That's what makes the issue of CAPEX management a little bit difficult. And that's where we play as a company to assist people with that kind of expertise to make sure that we advise the people accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You spoke of three different possibilities. Which ones are those?
There are three options that you can use. Firstly, you can actually use your own money in your company itself to purchase your CAPEX. But at the same time, you can look at your installment sale agreement. Mm-hmm. You can also look at your lease. So each and every one has got its own advantage. Just to go through them quickly, if I can, Charles.
Yeah, do that.
If you look at the first one, wherein you are using your own capital in the company, then you are paying a huge sums of money once off to purchase an asset, a productive asset. The advantage is that because you're buying it cash, you're not going to pay interest rate. Yeah. And at the same time, you can negotiate a cash discount. And the second advantage is that when you're buying your asset cash through your own capital, is that after having used the asset and having made money out of it and actually having recovered your capital expenditure, what you can do as well, you got an opportunity to sell that asset and get some money back into the company. But the disadvantage is here, because you are taking a big chunk of your income and putting it to an asset, that might ultimately, even if it's not at that point in time, might ultimately affect your cash flow or erode your cash flow of a company, because maybe you might go through a difficult economic environment, then you don't have enough cash because your cash is tied up in that asset. And everybody knows those assets are mostly movable assets, like for instance your plant and equipment, vehicles. Even if you were to sell that asset based on the interest rate that you're still owing and the balance, the bigger chance is that you'll be selling it at a loss. You know, so those are the disadvantages. But then, if you look at but
I think before you go further, I think that has got also an advantage that the money that you put into the business for an asset, it's a loan to the business. Yes. In other words, you can draw it back later on in life with interest.
That's correct. Yes, at 100% right. And then the next one is your installment sale agreement. The advantage is that you're putting up a little bit of a deposit, or sometimes without a deposit, but then you are spreading your payments over a longer period. That means that that's going to support your cash flow in the business. You're not going to overburden your cash flow because you're paying it over a period of time. And then secondly, the other advantage, which one I said before, was that at the end of the day, once you finish paying for the asset, you have an opportunity to sell it and still make some money out of it. You know, so those are the advantages. And the disadvantage is that obviously you're gonna pay a little bit more compared to the guy who's buying cash, because you're gonna have to pay. It comes with interest that you have to pay, and then secondly, then it might be very difficult for you to negotiate some discount because you're buying on installment sale.
It comes back to the same thing. Cash is king.
Cash is king. Thank you very much. And then the third option is your lease agreement. Your lease agreement, basically what it is, you're not owning the asset, but basically you are acquiring rights to use the asset, although it's not yours. The advantages are that you're also spreading your payments over a period of time. And at the same time, normally, under normal circumstances, is that the maintenance is not your responsibility. All right. And thirdly, as well, the repayments or the payments on the lease agreements are tax deductible as well. So you're going to get some tax benefits. But the disadvantages are here. The asset you don't own. So what it means is that it cannot form part of your equity in your business because it's not your asset.
How does that become a disadvantage? Because sometimes you find that that asset after 4 or 5 years, it's a liability.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So it's a liability that you don't own.
That's true. But the other advantage is that obviously if it's going to sit in your balance sheet as part of your equity because it's there.
But you write it off after 5 years. Say 20% per annum.
Yes, definitely is correct. But the other disadvantage with lease is that sometimes your lease comes with a fixed term, a predetermined term. But then let's take a scenario here. You want to buy a grader and you sign a 2-year lease, but you only have a project for 1.5 years that you need to use the asset for. What it means that you're going to be using for 1.5 But the rest of the 6 months, you still be paying a lease, but you won't be owning. You won't be using it. But at the same time, it's a bigger asset that you need to store as well. You know, if you're looking, it's not like me from Bakamdo, but even in town, you know, Charles, it is difficult to get space to store your plant. It costs you money. So that's a bit of a disadvantage.
Unfortunately, we ran out of time. But within the few seconds that we still have, if somebody wants to know more, to hear about you, to engage you in their businesses, where do they get hold of you?
Charles, they can follow custocare consultants on Facebook, and then they can contact me personally on my cell phone number, 072 4055 807.
Viewers out there, that's all the time we had for today. You can also get hold of me on www.charlesngobeni.com or on Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, or you can also like me on Facebook, Charles Ngobeni. Bye for now. See you next week.